in talking about my writing process is that most of the time when we hear blogs, we hear podcasts, we hear interviews, we see speakers, whatever, we read writers, whenever we're hearing writing advice, it's always from the people who have done it a billion times and who hopefully know what they're talking about and have figured out their process, even though a lot of the time what they're talking about is that kind of fear of, will this work? Will my story come together? That never goes away. Nevertheless, these are people who usually have a published track record. They have taken the time to figure out their process. They have a process that they trust, even if they don't feel great about it all the time. And they're experienced, which is awesome, because of course those are the people you want to be hearing advice from, because they're experienced. But one of the things that I think is missing is the process of what it takes to gain that experience. How do you actually figure out your process? I mean, you don't just like show up one day and say, okay, I'm going to write a novel. Just do it fine the first time and then just keep doing that for the next 30 years. It's a difficult process. It takes time to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. And I'm never hearing people talk about kind of that process that they went through to figure out what works for them. What were the failures that they made over and over again that were preventing them from writing a book before they were able to write a book? Now, full disclosure, that's exactly where I'm at. I have a huge amount of experience with writing, and I have an extremely tiny amount of experience with writing successfully. And what I mean writing successfully, I just mean reaching the end of something, feeling that it's complete and feeling satisfied with it. I don't even necessarily need to feel thrilled about it, but just feeling like I reached the end of a project that I intended to create, and I could call it finished. Very, very rarely hit that point. But I've been writing consistently since I was 9 years old. I've started many, many novels. And I have realized that I reach the same point in every single process. I get stuck in the same places. And so clearly there's like something fundamental about my process that is preventing me from getting to the end. I've reached this kind of horrifying realization that if I continue writing the way I always have written, I will never finish anything. That's pretty much what the data has shown me so far. And so I need clearly a big process revision. I need to really strategically think about how I'm approaching my stories and either change how I'm approaching my stories, change how I'm thinking about my stories, do whatever it takes to come up with a writing process that can actually take me from beginning to end. And again, I've been to writing school twice. I have a minor in creative writing. I have a master's in creative writing. Nobody ever taught me how to develop my process. They just taught me what good writing looks like. So that's what this series is all about. It's a little bit like just looking into my closet as I'm organizing it. I don't have any secrets yet. I don't have any like tried and true tips where I can say, I used to struggle with this and then I figured this out and now I learned this. I have been thinking about this for a while. I've been trying a few different things. I think I'm learning more about myself. I'm hopefully getting to a process that's better. But I realized I've been waiting until I like have the aha moment and the eureka and figure it all out before I want to share my process. And I started thinking, maybe I should just not do that. Maybe I should start sharing it right now. I'm sure there's other people who go through something similar. And one of the challenges that I've had is that because no one else talks about the same thing, the only people you can ever find who are talking about writing are people who are talking about stuff they've already figured out. And that's a little alienating. Very hard to hear genuinely about the problems people are having right now, other than, oh, writing is hard. I mean, we all know that. We all agree on that, but we're all talking about different things when we say that. So if you're interested in kind of coming on a step-by-step journey through my own, like, take apart the machine, see how it works, and put it all together and see if it runs, that's what we're doing here. I do think this is a process that will be helped by collaboration. I think other people doing experiments on themselves and also trying to figure this stuff out and sharing what we're learning as we learn it would be incredibly beneficial and would hopefully get us all where we want to be faster than if we're just tinkering alone in our rooms. So stay in touch, stay tuned. I hope you come along for the ride, and I hope to get to know you along the way. And let's do this.